Thank you, Dain. Thanks for coming. Everyone's excited. Everyone's happy.
Awesome. Thank you. And Ryan, thank you for creating this book club. What a gift. That is wonderful. And so I will be reading the last chapter. Is there anything that anything you need to say or do before I start?
Yes, I want to say thank you very much. I couldn't imagine what would my life have been or would be if I have never met you and Access. Thank you, Dain.
Thank you, my friend. You're not supposed to make me cry at the beginning of a Zoom. Oh, and I love it because the gratitude that people have had for this amazing book, and people like you, Ryan, that take it out into the world and share it with people. I'm going to move my camera just a bit. What an amazing gift. And I'm so honored to have brought something like this into the world, something that by reading it truly changes your world and gives you access to you, but not in a checklist way, you know, not in a, I'm going to find me by doing these 10 things, but in a way of unfolding and discovering what is true for you, which is really the gift of this journey called life. Really is to find out what is actually true for us that's different for other people, that is different than other people, and what capacities and abilities do we have, what greatness lies within us that is just waiting to be unearthed and explored. So I'm going to read the last chapter, which I have so many favorite chapters in this book. Pardon me, I'm getting my iPad because it's on my Kindle.
Sorry to interrupt. Peony, the Mandarin Zoom is not being recorded. Thank you.
Say that again?
The Mandarin Zoom is not being recorded.
Oh, well, now would be a good time.
It is recorded on my ear. It is not on the cloud.
I did not hear, nor did I understand that. So
I think we're good to go, Dain. I think she's got it sorted.
Okay. Annie always has it sorted. She's awesome. She just never thinks she has it sorted, I think is what goes on. Okay, so I'm going to try to put my book, and hope it doesn't mess up my computer. Okay, when I say book, I mean iPad, which I was reading one time the Being You Changing the World book on an airplane, which of course has my face on the cover. And this stewardess walked by and looked at the book and looked at me and looked at the book and looked at me, and she's like, "Is that you?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "It must be a good book if you're reading your own book." And I went, "Oh, it's so good. And I really need it today." It was just wonderful. Okay, beautiful people. So here we go. Chapter 16. Oh, goodness. This book makes me want to cry every time. Chapter 16, the beginning. This is almost the end of the book and the beginning of something completely different, if you choose it. Please know, no one can choose for you. You are the creator of your life. The only thing standing in the way of you is you. We've looked at many areas in this book, and we've cleared much of what may have been standing in the way of you stepping into being you. Your awareness has increased whether you know it cognitively or not. Your potency has increased whether you know it cognitively or not. Your capacity to receive has increased whether you know it cognitively or not. If you allow it, it will continue to do so. If you ask for it and use the tools you have so generously put in your path, and make no mistake about it, it's a process. It is being you, changing the world. Verbs, ongoing form. The energy keeps moving and shifting and changing. It's continuous, being. What you were 10 seconds ago is no longer. You're a new you, and it's continuous and changing. What was required for you to change when you started to read this book may not even be relevant anymore. When I tell the story of how Access Consciousness saved and changed my whole life, some people think it was all done there and then, way back in 2000. Let me tell you, the process is still on. I joyfully, curiously, excitedly, and out of necessity use the tools I've introduced to you in this book every day, almost every moment of the day. Sometimes I get really uncomfortable. I feel stuck. I go into the wrongness of me. The difference is that where before it would take months or weeks or days to get out of it, it can now take an hour or even minutes by asking questions, by using the tools like questions and Pak and Pod, by receiving from the universe, by choosing something different. Today, I view every little bit of sweet stuckness as a gift, although sometimes grudgingly so. It's another layer of this reality popping up to be cleared and changed. But more importantly, I use the tools to generate and create the change I'd like to see in the world and the life I desire. You can do that too. These tools are meant to be used a lot. They don't wear out. They're easy. They are yours. There's no need for any guru except you. With these tools, you can be the master of your universe, and there are a lot more tools available beyond this book. The areas of being we've looked at in this book, judgment, body, sex, relationship, receiving, caring, abuse, family, magic, choice, leadership, are areas that repeatedly come up in my classes. I use these very tools to facilitate change in people's whole universes. The ones whose lives truly change are the ones that go home and keep using the tools and keep stepping into the energy of being, whatever that looks like for them, and they keep asking questions. Since I was a child, all I wanted to do was change the world. My greatest joy is hearing how different people's lives are after a class and how that change continues to grow, how their bodies no longer choose to hurt, the ease they're having with themselves, what difference they're able to be with their children and loved ones, the contribution they are to the people around them, the potency they're stepping into in the world. Sometimes a previous brick hugger comes up after class and gives me a hug from a place of such vulnerability and receiving that we both melt into tears and oneness. How did I get so lucky to be a contribution to change? I'm more grateful than I could ever express in words. In all these areas, my own living and being is something completely different than it was 11 years ago, and 5 years ago, and 3 years ago, and 1 year ago. Yet I keep looking, I keep asking, in total amazed gratitude for what I've received and generated. What else is possible here? What can I generate and create differently that I haven't yet acknowledged? And what can we? It's the greatest adventure I could ever think of, inviting you to the exploration of consciousness, being you, changing the world, and beyond. Most modalities you've come into contact with, spiritual and otherwise, will show you how to fit better into this reality, how to function, benefit, win, and not lose based on what everyone else agrees are the rules and regulations of existing. Access is different, completely different. It shows you how to go beyond this reality. So here are your marching orders, my friend. You are a gift, the likes of which the world has never seen before. It's irrelevant who you thought you were before you got here. You are you, something far greater than anyone else has ever seen. Now is the time. You can fight it, you can hide from it, but you'll never again be able to avoid it. Even if the world never changed, don't you know you have a different life to live? Now is the time. Anything you've ever felt left out of, you are not left out of this. You've been demanding change while refusing it just as much, so you take tiny steps forward instead of quantum leaps. Now is the time for a difference. Everything you thought was you is not enough. You are far greater than anything you could think. You're an energy of being that has never been seen before. Now's the time to be it, to embody it, to receive the possibilities that go beyond this reality, to step into such allowance of you in everything, such potency, such joy, that you become the difference the world has been asking for. Now is the time. We have an earth around us that is getting sicker. We have a world that needs us. Not just our families, not just our friends, our city, our state, or our country. The world requires what we know. What we each know, that we've been hiding from everyone, including us. Now is the time for your knowing to awaken, for your knowing that goes beyond what this reality is to the being that you know is possible. Now is the time where we unlock the knowing that you've hidden from everyone, including you. Now is the time where we unlock the consciousness of you as you truly be. You knew we would get to this point and this moment and this day. You knew. Will you acknowledge that, please? You knew the time would come to step into being the acoustic you, the being that is beyond definition and beyond judgment, beyond caring about the limited points of view of this reality, the being you've done your best to hide from for 4 trillion years. Now is the time, and we are the keys. Let us unlock everything that would allow you to now be. What if being were something totally different than anyone has ever decided it would be? What if you could let go of your definition of self, your definition of separation, your definition of judgment, and everything that defines you as less than the oneness you be? How many of you know you want just a slightly better version of this reality? What if that were not enough for you? What if you know everything has to change? But what if it were easy and spacious? What if it were not change as this reality tells you is necessary? What if it were change from a totally different place? What do you know that you've been pretending not to know for a very long time? What are you that you've been pretending not to be for a very long time? Are you willing to know it and be it now? Because, my friend, it takes all of us. We all have the stories of our lives, the reason we can and cannot choose from our justified point of view. What if that were all crap? What if we created a totally different source for reality? What if you know what that is, have known what it is for a very, very, very long time? Now is the time to reawaken it. Here we are together again, different bodies, different creations that we call our lives. Here we are together again to change, to create change, to generate it and institute it, something we do very, very well. Now is the time to unlock the doors you personally came here to unlock. Now is the time to unlock the doors together that we came here to unlock, whatever they be. Now is the time to open the door to being totally acoustic, to acknowledge our capacity, our ability, and that our very being is the destruction of everything limited. Now is the time. You have far too much joy to bring the world to allow yourself to be mired in the sadness. And if you haven't known it, it's only because you perceive so much of the sadness the world around you chooses. It's only because the world around you makes the sadness more real than the joy you know is possible. And it's only because you've hidden it underneath mountains of other people's realities, believing that if you allowed it to be seen, it could be crushed or destroyed. But nothing, anything, or anyone has ever done could truly destroy it, because you are here right now. Now is the time to awaken that joy. We require it. The earth requires it. The universe requires it and begs us to have the courage to open up that difference called joy that we be. Now is the time. What change will the earth request of us? Step into all the potency you've ever mustered or considered possible, and then go beyond it and give change to the earth for whatever it requires, because it, as you, knows. Are you willing to step into being the tsunami of consciousness? An acoustic wave that changes everything in its path, that goes wherever it chooses, knows exactly where it must go, and doesn't allow anyone or anything to stop it ever again. Now is the time. Time for the gentle potency we be, the intensity of potency we be, the difference called potency we be. That is the change the world has been asking for. You are that which allows consciousness to be. You knew and asked that this demand be made on you. In fact, it's a demand that you placed on yourself, a request and an insistence. Now is the time, excuse me. Now is the time as you have requested. Allow everything you know to come into being. My friend, I don't necessarily know what it is that exists in a completely different world. I just know it's completely different. Welcome to your completely different world. Whew. Well, just a little light chapter of marching orders for you kids. All right, get your butts out there and start enjoying your life. And You might be some of the only happy Chinese on the planet. So there, I just want to acknowledge that about you, because you're weird and different and happy. That's weird. That's the weirdest thing on the planet, is being happy. So I'm gonna take a couple of questions. Thank you. We're always talking about being you. We feel that we're always chasing it. How can we be more relaxed? I love that question, because that is actually the key to all of it. And I recognize this now more than ever. For 20 years, I was just, probably 30 years before that too. But for the last 20 years since Access, I have been going and going and going and going and going. And no matter what I did, it was never enough. I was always like, okay, I got to do more. I got to be more. The world needs to change. I got to work harder. I got to do more. I got to be more. And what I realized was there's a way of creating more from relaxation than from the constant need to do. And it's in that relaxation that you allow miraculous things to show up for you. It's such an amazing gift to allow the universe to contribute to you. We all live here on this beautiful planet. How did we get so friggin' lucky? And we see a lot of people around us who are struggling, who are working all the time thinking, if I can just work more, then I'll get better. And yet, in actuality, there's a different way of being in which we relax into allowing miracles to occur. So everything that doesn't allow you to relax and allow miracles to occur, will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So it's a matter of making the choice to relax into being, rather than believing that you need to chase it. You're already you, whatever that is. It's just uncovering more of what's true for you that you didn't realize. And hopefully being kind to yourself on that journey, because relaxation and kindness with you go together. And so there's this beautiful way of being in which you actually realize it's okay. Everybody else in the world may be stressed out about everything. Everybody else in the world may be freaking out about the world, because people like to do that shit. Hold on one sec. I'm trying to give myself some light. There. But what if you don't have to? What if you know something different is possible? And what gift are you here to be that you've never acknowledged? And once again, is now the time. Let me tell you, now is the time. Now more than ever. And that's not a significance, that's an acknowledgement, it's an awareness. And if anything, it should be an invitation to more freedom and more of a sense of, I got this. Like, I can do this, I'm capable. And you are. There's not one of you that is not fully capable of creating whatever you desire and changing whatever you desire. And I know that because when I came to Access, I thought I was totally incapable of changing things. And working with hundreds of thousands of people over the last 20 years, I've seen that everybody is capable of it, literally. Whether they choose it or not is a different story. But if you allow yourself to relax into finding out what is true for you, and allowing yourself to be presented with miraculous possibilities, there's a different way that you can show up in the world that's this, it gives you this immense gratitude for being alive, this immense sense that you have value, and this immense sense of connection with everything. You no longer feel like you're walking around alone in your own little bubble and avoiding things and avoiding people. Instead, it's more like, wow, how did I get so lucky to be here? And when you have that point of view, you start perceiving the beauty in the world around you. No matter where you live, no matter who you live with, you start to realize that there are aspects of your life, of the world, that are truly beautiful. So everything that doesn't allow you to perceive, know, be, and receive that, will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Couple more things before I let you go. Don't know why, but I just can't stop crying. Let it out. Just let it out. Just let it out. Just let it out. There are certain things that we will come across in our lives that we don't realize it, but we've been holding a lot in and we've been holding a lot back. And sometimes something comes along and just kind of like pulls out the stopper that's been holding you together in this solid way, and you just kind of melt. From my point of view, that's a huge gift. And for some people, initially they get really uncomfortable because they know that it's a space of less control, but that's actually a space of vulnerability in which everything can occur. Everything can come to you with a far greater sense of ease. And you start also having a sense of possibilities that a lot of people don't get. And you start to wonder why they don't get it. Just realize they just don't get it. That's why they don't get it. And not much to do about that other than acknowledge, oh, they don't get it. Okay, cool. I wonder what I get that they don't. And what about me being the me, not having to have anybody else get it? And then you can be the difference that you are, and it's no longer something where you separate from you. So let the tears flow, because basically as those tears flow, you get more of you. And don't resist it. And you may cry for the rest of today, who knows? But what a glorious gift. Just, cover your face and nobody will notice. Oh, you could put your mask up here instead of down here, just a thought. Or you could wear your underwear on your face in place of a mask, which I think would kind of be awesome. I don't know, just maybe try it out. Maybe try it out, take a selfie and see how it looks. Or you could wear somebody else's underwear on your face, but that would be a little weird. Okay. Anyway, so touched. Thank you. I've heard that chapter so many times, and each time it's so different. It truly is. I have read it so many times, and each time it's different. And I look at that, and the entire Being You book, every time I go to read a part of it, I'm like, when did I write it like that? And my sense is that the book may actually change. I'm not sure. I do know that I change when I come to the book. And every time you read it, and I have read it many times and listened to the audiobook many times, every single time is different. And every single time, because it meets you where you are, because being is not static. Being is not what we think it is, like, I am being, I am this. Well, if you're that, you're going to be really bored and frustrated, because being is meant to move. You're meant to change all the time. That's actually how it works. And most people are trying not to. But when you read the book and it's totally different each time, or listen to it and it's totally different each time, or go back and listen to the book club or watch it and it's totally different each time, that's because you're different. So it can contribute to you differently. I wrote this book as a way of contributing to people. I wrote this book because when I came to Access 20 years ago, I was at that place where I was going to end my life. This information wasn't available. There was nobody to hold my hand and walk me on this path. And I'm like, I fucking want to hold other people's hands and walk them on the path. So, just as I said my first F word, I just noticed a child on the Zoom. Perfect timing. Okay. Can we ask for a change for more people to step into the tsunami of consciousness? Well, how about this? We have these things called 1, 2, 3s, 1, 2, 3, 4s. How about if we ask for a tsunami of conscious possibilities for China? Would you be willing to contribute to that? What we're going to do is a 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12. And 19, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20. And 5, 9, 11, 14, 19, 20. 5, 9, 11, 14, 19, 20. 5, 9, 11, 14, 19, 20. 5, 9, 11, 14, 19, 20. 5, 9, 11, 14, 19, 20. 5, 9, 11, 14, 19, 20. 5, 9, 11, 14, 19, 20. 5, 9, 11, 14, 19, 20. My beautiful friends, you truly are the change this world requires. And I don't say that from significance, I say it from awareness. That you are willing to look and consider and explore what it is to be you. It's dynamically different. And it's where everything can show up in your life. I have so many times where people have come to me and gone, I want to change my money thing. I want to change stress. I want to change this. I want to change that. And I'm like, cool, no problem. We can do that. And they use the access tools and that starts changing. And then at some point, what becomes valuable to them is exploring being them. And I'll see them sometimes a year or 2 years later and I'm like, hey, how's the money? How's the stress? How's the body? How's all that stuff? And they go, oh, well, yeah, that's all changing, but I don't care anymore. It's way more fun to have this adventure of exploring me, a journey I have never gone on before. I thought what I had to do was solve all my problems. I thought I was coming to Access to get my problem solved because it seemed like a better way of solving problems. And I now realize that there will be problems and they'll come and they'll go, but it doesn't matter because I've actually got me and I have me more every day. See, that's the space in which your life is no longer about the problems and the difficulties that have to be overcome to be happy. Your life actually becomes about this gratitude for you being alive, and then what else is true for me that I never imagined possible. And I say again, now is the time. Okay, my beautiful friends, I love it. Somebody, like, I feel the whole heart chakra, and then somebody's like, I feel hard to breathe, my throat is stuck. Yes, is that yours? Remember that thing called Who Does This Belong To? Is it mine? How 98% of your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, well, and between 50 and 100% of what goes on in your body is not actually yours. So please ask. And yes, we added Malaysia in our request, thank you. And yes, I like the whole world also. But the reason I said China specifically is because you're of the connection that this particular group of people has that can be contributed, and fully recognizing that it will encompass the world. Because there isn't anyone or anything you haven't been or done. You know, maybe Chinese this lifetime, but you've been all kinds of things in all kinds of places. And all of those were parts of the experience that give you and give you an invitation to you. Sometimes I know it's not mine, but it still doesn't go back. I know, no, little princess. That's not the way it works. See, I know it's not mine, but I still have it. No, dum-dum. You have to ask the question, who does this belong to? Is it mine? Because the question, see, excuse me, you would not have it as a problem if you didn't already think it was yours, okay? Because you'd go, oh, I perceive sadness rather than I'm so sad. So you've already decided in some way that it's yours, otherwise it wouldn't seem like it was yours. Very profound. And so you have to ask the question, because you're essentially, when you have something that is not yours, that you are believing is yours, that you are functioning from as yours. Essentially, you're in darkness around that particular area. So, for example, you know, if you go, oh, I'm so sad, or oh, my throat is closing up, or whatever it is, well, you've made that yours, and so now that's all there is. Who does this belong to, or is this mine? Asking a question opens it up and shines a light on it, which is what you require, is that light of awareness to be put upon it so that you can perceive the difference between it and you, or perceive at least that it's not yours. And then what you do is go, okay, so everything I did to buy this as mine when it wasn't, and everything I'm creating and uncreating as a result, right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds, and return to sender with consciousness attached. And right now, more than ever, it's like there's so many people on the planet that are having trouble breathing, that are sad, that are feeling like they're dying. It's really important that you get, if you haven't done Who Does This Belong To for 3 days, please, please, please do it. Because until you've done it for 3 days, you don't break the machine that makes you believe that everything you're aware of is yours. Because it's not actually yours. 99% of it, not yours, and you don't have to live with it. I like it. Strong energy's flowing in my body. I'm very happy. Yay! And I feel like I welcome the COVID-19 brings more mess up to the world, and then the world could totally change, but I feel guilty. Am I mean? Nope. It's part of the beauty of COVID is it demanded a change in the world and created it. I mean, kids in China saw blue sky for the first time. I mean, whoa, what a gift. I mean, they were able to see the Himalaya mountains from India for the first time in 35 years. I mean, there's so many things that have been a change that I think a lot of us have been asking for. And please realize change never shows up the way you think it's going to. It just doesn't. And we can't control it, but it is possible to, oh, I like that. The year the Earth changed shows a pandemic from the planet's point of view. It's a great movie if you haven't seen it. The Year the Earth Changed. So good. Highly recommended. And so, no, that is not mean. And this is the thing, is we have to recognize that change takes whatever it takes. Meaning, we don't know what it's going to take to change things, because the place we're looking from is an old place, trying to get to a new place from an old place. But the universe knows. So let's welcome change however it shows up, but also use this, all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory. Because if you do, then the change will show up with ease for you. It's what we've done in Access forever, which is why, you know, everybody else in their businesses were like shutting down, slowing down, and in Access, we just kept on moving. Because our point of view is even change occurs with ease and joy and glory. And we're also always looking at the future we would like to create. Please, please, please. The greatest way to have ease in the present and to navigate change is by allowing yourself to make choices that will create your future. But in order to do that, you need to look into the future with that energy bubble exercise that's in the book, and just go, if I could have anything as my life in the next 5 years, or the next 25, or the next 500, what would it be? And get the sense of that energy, and you will have a guide that will guide you for every choice you need to make. And yes, it's okay to ask, who does this belong to in general instead of to a specific thought or feeling? Because a lot of times they're not specific. In other words, it's just generally like, which is an awareness probably of a lot of things. So yeah, feel free to do that. That works brilliantly. And last thing I'm going to address, I'm afraid to be myself, many fears. Fear is actually something called a distractor implant. And anytime you have anger, fear, doubt, you want to go all the distractor implants, destroy and uncreate it, pock and pot it. And also, is this fear or excitement? And also, who the heck does this belong to? And everything I did to buy it is mine. Destroy and uncreate all that. Okay. Okay, last question. This is a book club, not a personal processing session. People, last question. I love you too, thank you. I taught bars classes, but the students never practiced and told me it was a waste to learn bars. I feel disappointed. Hello? Why are you disappointed? You're disappointed because they're stupid? If you get disappointed about other people being stupid, you're going to spend a lot of your life disappointed, okay? And if they didn't get it, no problem. Bars is not for everybody. Go out and find people who actually like it and who receive it. Because there's a lot of people where they won't be receiving it, and that's not your fault. Do your best, give to the best of your ability, and don't worry about idiots. There's a lot of them on the planet. I don't know if you've noticed. And a lot of you are like, but I shouldn't say that. Yeah, you should. You should acknowledge what is, but without a judgment, okay? I found if somebody knows about spiritual, it's easy to run bars, otherwise they don't believe it and won't continue. Well, that's a fixed point of view. Pocket pot all of your projections, expectations, separations, judgments, and rejections about that and everything else every day. And then ask for people who get it just because they do. They don't have to be spiritual. I found that spiritual people don't actually get access very well. Now, their door seems to be more open to receiving something different, but oftentimes they have so many fixed points of view about what is right and wrong that their judgments get in their way of what they're willing to receive, which is what judgment does. It gets in the way of what you're willing to receive and what you're willing to be. So what I would do is I would get over all of my judgments of them, all of my judgments of me, all of my judgments of everyone and everything, and then be aware of those people that can receive it that are not spiritual or are spiritual, and it won't matter, okay? And yes, the Body Whispering book, oh my goodness, it was so good. Will it be in Chinese? Hell yeah, at some point, but we just barely got it out in English, so unfortunately, you're gonna have to wait a little bit. We'll see if we can get Ryan to translate that one too. Okay, oh, thank you. Every time I listen to it, I get different gifts from it, even if it's the same MP3. I know, isn't it awesome? I love it. Okay, beautiful people, this has truly been an honor and a pleasure. And Ryan, I thank you again for creating this and inviting all these beautiful people. And how did I get so lucky to be with you for part of my day today? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dain. And thank you on behalf of everyone to you. There's so many people saying thank you.
Thank you all, and have way too much fun. I will leave you now, and just truly, please receive my gratitude for you being, and for you being as different as you are. Such a gift. And I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.